Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Jocelyn Starenchak. I am the Director of Economic Development for Can Do, and I'm so happy to have you guys here with us. Um, Apologize, we got off a couple minutes late, just trying to get all of our live streams effective and ready for people to view who are not logged in with us. So again, thank you all for joining. We are here with Ryan Hertel from Social Loca. I'm just going to try to figure out how to unmute Ryan. I think he's muted right now.
Oh,
And
I should be good here.
there you go. Cool. So Ryan is the owner and creative director of Social Loca, a marketing agency, a digital marketing agency based out of northeastern Pennsylvania. And we are thrilled to have him here with us today talking about social media management and how to build an effective platform to stay engaged with your audience during any time, but specifically this time where everything is moved to some form of digital remote access currently. So before we get started, I do just want to give a little plug for some of the groups that brought this together for us. Obviously, Can Do and Can Be, which is who I'm affiliated with, but from a larger scheme, the Think Initiative, the Hazleton Innovation Collaborative, which includes many of our downtown partners and Greater Hazleton partners, including the Greater Hazleton Chamber of Commerce, the Downtown Hazleton Alliance for Progress, the Hazleton Launchbox, and as well as the Small Business Development Center, all work together to put this together for you. So we're really excited, ready to get kicked off. Ryan, are you ready to go?
Yeah, I guess so.
Awesome.
Today's going to be a big one. I see the participant numbers keep going up too. So we'll get
Yes.
started slow. I might try to burn 5 minutes here, just kind of
Sure. Let them
explaining.
all get on.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, for anybody who's here, we had a bunch of people last week too, which thanks so much to everybody who's returning again today to see more. This has been an awesome webinar series so far, and we had a bunch of participants last week when we were talking about websites and how it's best to start your own website or rework it, so you can really utilize that as a tool for your business. And this week, I feel that this session might even be just more important, honestly, is how you can utilize your social media now if you don't have a website to connect with your audience. And we're going to specifically cater this to with ways that are going to help you with keeping in touch during this whole COVID-19 crisis, because I'm sure many of you have tons of questions about that. Jocelyn also has some things to say too. So Jocelyn, when we get talking about COVID, feel free to jump in, because I know you know some of the more specifics on what Facebook and all these platforms have been doing. You've been dealing with that constantly with small businesses. So last week we talked about websites and using them as a tool, having them have contact pages, ways to find you through Google Maps, ways to purchase your product, all of that. And I'm sure all of you are familiar as well, to an extent of what you can use, an online source for. So today I wanted to highlight how social media is so much more than a place to post your political opinion or your puppy or your relationship status. It's just so much more, that there are actually probably so many people using it purely for business over a personal thing at this point. I mean, I know personally, I will majorly use Facebook for business at this point, answering messages, staying in contact with people. It's just become such a tool. And I'm sure a lot of you agree. Maybe some of you don't use it that much, but Facebook and social media and all the other platforms we talk about today, they've all already exploded, most of them, and they provide awesome functionality to help you in your business. So to get into this a little bit more, let's just take a quick review over what I'm going to be chatting about today. So, the title of this session is Setting Up Your Social Media for Accessibility and Success. And the reason I wanted to use the words accessibility and success is, creating a social media platform, and setting it up the right way is really a task all on its own, dependent on who the business is, and what the business does. If you're a restaurant, you can utilize your Facebook page, to accept, orders, have a telephone number for people to call. But if you're an e-commerce site, you might want your main call to action to be buy this product, join our mailing list, find our store. So there are different priorities dependent on the business. And I really felt that having your social media set up for accessibility and success is different, and it's defined differently depending on the business. So I'm going to look at this overall and be broad. And any specifics, feel free to drop a question. I know through the Zoom feature, you can raise your hand or ask through our Q&A. So let me know, just say, hey, Ryan, I've got a question, and I will definitely take breaks. Jocelyn's going to be helping too. So we will take pauses as we need to go through and answer any questions that we can. So yeah, don't hesitate to drop a question right in the Q&A, and we'll answer that. And again, like I was saying, just to go through the table of contents today, we want to talk about Facebook, and we want to talk about how it can act as a web page for your business. We also want to talk about Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok, which many of you are going to laugh about, but this is going to be a funny one, Snapchat, and then managing your social media. Because once we go through all of these, you're all going to be sitting there saying, how the heck am I supposed to do all of this? So don't worry, there are ways and there are features that you can use to better manage your social media to save time and energy. So with that really broad table of contents, let's jump into this. Let me switch around my screen and let's talk about Facebook. And again, everybody here is primarily knowledgeable when it comes to Facebook. Just making sure that this works, you should be seeing my screen, and we should be looking at Social Loca's Facebook page. Jocelyn, if you could give a quick confirmation just to make sure I'm not just talking to myself.
Sure, Ryan. And one thing yes, we are seeing Socialos's Facebook page. I'm tongue-tied today.
You're good. You're good.
And we are seeing you. But for everybody on the line, I do want to acknowledge that there is a little bit of a video lag that's coming through. I did some troubleshooting on my end, Ryan. I don't think it's you. I reached out to a couple other people and everybody's kind of seeing it, but I think it might be Zoom and the volume of calls at this time. So if you're a viewer and you're seeing kind of a lag with one of our faces, but you hear our voices okay, just try to bear with us. We'll hopefully work through it. But Ryan, it seems like the screen share is doing okay and the audio is perfect, but it isn't quite lining up with
okay.
Yeah.
Understood. And we'll make sure that we send out the re-recording of this for anybody who misses any important parts. If for any reason it really gets bad, let me know. We can take, a couple second break, just let it catch up. So we'll do this no, that sounds great. Thank you, Jocelyn. So we'll do this in pieces. Let's start with Facebook. And hopefully this is caught up for most of you and you can follow along. But again, there is so much to talk about when it comes to Facebook and what it offers small businesses. So, I mean, a lot of you are probably already taking advantage of so many of these features, listing services on the page, having a shop, connecting your Instagram over, boosting posts. So there are so many directions we can go with starting to talk about all of this. So let's narrow it down. And I have a list that I want to go through. Messenger is the very first feature. And again, a lot of us are probably super, super familiar with this, but let's talk about Messenger and just talk about why it's just so important to have this. Facebook has built its own messaging platform, which is so important because this can be eventually an ultimate way to communicate globally. It doesn't cost any money. It's over Wi-Fi. You can communicate with anybody anywhere. You can call your friends. You can call your clients. Facebook has created this tool, just a simple messenger tool that's incredible. And it has so many uses for so many businesses. So just to show you this in action, let's bring this over here. Let's bring up Social Loca's website, and I'll show you just how great this tool is for Facebook Messenger. One of the best features about it is you can include it on your websites now. And when they released this, I thought to myself, this is ingenious because so many small businesses have that need for instant communication with their clients, their website visitors, whoever it would be, but they don't necessarily have the budget or the necessity to have a full-on customer support system. A lot of the time, it simply just needs to be a chat box where they can just log in and do what they need to do. So just to show you how this works, when you bring up this messenger icon, it's given me some issues. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to display this live with the way that Zoom works, but if we jump back here to our Messenger settings, this is something that everyone with a business page on Facebook can take advantage of. And again, if you've already done this, just bear with me. There are still some people who might not be aware of this. It is a super common feature now on Facebook, but make sure you have it working. So when you go into your Facebook settings, as you can see here, you'll have a tab for messaging. And from your messaging tab, this is where you would set up all of your parameters and all the information for sending greetings, automatic greetings to people, adding this messenger to your website, automated responses. There are so many features and tools in here that I really encourage all of you to take the time to go and look at. Again, I could try to go through all of this, but it's a lot to go through, and it's best if you explore it for yourself. But just so you can understand the primary usages, it is a great way to have your audience reach out, and it's totally free. It's totally complimentary by Facebook. They can reach out directly through the Facebook page, or you can embed it on your website. So Facebook's really ahead of the game when it comes to this. And, a lot of other services are too, but now what they're saying is, hey, we have this messenger platform and it doesn't even need to just be on Facebook. Put it on your website, have people just, authorize through that and send you a message. So make sure it's available. And when it is, you'll be able to message other people's pages as well. Let's take a quick page as an example. Let's go to, hold on. Just to take a quick off the cuff example and make sure that this works. Yep, so right here from the Can Do Incorporated page, you can see that as soon as I went to that page, this messenger box popped up. Now that's ingenious. I mean, this is great. Now anybody who goes to find your business online can immediately start to talk to you. They can immediately send questions and get answers. And if you have someone who's able to quickly reply at the other end, you're going to have a really successful way to take these leads or these new visitors or potential new fans or whoever they are and convert them to a customer or a user or a subscriber or whatever it needs to be for your business. So you click on that send message, and it would pop up this form right here. So here, let's see if I exit this out. I click send message. Yep, pops it up right there. So again, there are so many uses to this. Utilize this however you need. Customer service, taking requests from people, whatever you think is best. The Facebook Messenger chat feature is just super powerful, and it's going to help a lot of you if you utilize it the right way. Let me check the chat real quick. We are all good on questions. So moving on after Messenger, let's talk about searchability on Facebook. Again, right from Facebook, you have the power to optimize your listing on your Facebook page and optimize what it is so that people can find you more. In this case, for Socialoka, which is my marketing agency, I want all of my page info to display information about the marketing services we have: social media management, advertising, internet marketing. So for my categories, I've selected social media agency, advertising agency, internet marketing service. But again, and like I said at the beginning when I started talking, was all of these things, all of the, the efficiency and the accessibility that you'll need to, have a Facebook page work for your business it's going to be different every time. For example, if you're a restaurant, your categories are going to be entirely different. In fact, you might want to change your categories now to something like takeout or delivery, just to have more relevancy when people are searching for businesses on Facebook where they might be able to order food, especially during this time. So again, a lot of this is self-explanatory. Go through and set your phone number, allow your customers and page viewers to be able to contact you. Have your website. If you don't have a website right now, you can always mark my page doesn't have a website. Have an email. Make sure that you're putting where your street address is, your servicing areas, or whatever is most prevalent to your business, your hours, temporary service changes, everything. And while we're on this, and Jocelyn, feel free to chime in because I want to chat about COVID-19 real quick and some of the features that Facebook has done to make this easier for businesses to address this concern with their customers. So this is really important for anybody. There is this section right here in settings under page info when you're looking at your Facebook page. And I think this is great that Facebook added is they have these temporary service changes. So we can mark that there are no changes, with the service that Socialoka is providing necessarily because, we're still operating online. We're still able to, we're a primarily online company. So I can leave no changes. But for a lot of you, it's a temporary closing because of the governor's orders. Or maybe you are open, but it's just a strange, mix of something, or it's just delivery or pickup. So this section right here here. And again, for anyone who's watching, feel free to go get into a Safari or a Chrome tab and do this if it's going to be good for your business. Go to your Facebook page, click settings, and you want to go to page info. From page info, scroll down, and there's temporary service changes. And what you'll be able to do is click these changes and adjust them on Facebook, and then it'll set that in your Facebook description. Now, I might not know everything there is to know about, the new features with COVID-19 by Facebook, which is kind of a great thing. It just shows that Facebook is super on top of staying on this. They're making it easier for us to explain this to customers, fans, friends, whatever. I think that's great. Another thing that we should highlight as well, while we're talking about this, is their COVID-19 business resources. And just a disclaimer, this is new to me too. This is brand new stuff for all of us. But this is an awesome center. And personally, in my opinion, I've loved what Facebook has done with at least staying active on making sure that people are as properly educated as they can for now until they get a better grasp on it, with their COVID-19 resources. So again, no matter where you're at with this, they have this here to help businesses. And it's really important. They have, they have this action guide, different PDFs and videos you can watch, different walkthroughs, just to kind of, explain best practices and whatnot, the reporting from the CDC. So the COVID-19 business resources through Facebook is definitely something that all of you should take a look at, even just to explore it. I still have more to do with exploring it. And they offer, different ways to stay in touch with your audience, live videos, the groups, the messenger, like we talked about. So yeah, take a look at this. They've, launched a lot of new features, and I don't want to, waste too much time on explaining these when we've got more to do. But like I said, it is right under your Facebook page. And when you're here, right from your Facebook page at the top from a desktop, you should be able to click COVID-19 business resources. From mobile, I'm sure this is also possible. They usually try to have their mobile app, similarly update. If you have any issues, I'm sure Facebook will be getting on that. But COVID-19 business resources. If anybody has any questions specifically about that, please feel free to say something. I'm going to check right now just to make sure we don't have any questions. Nope, I think we're good for now. Jocelyn.
Yeah, we do have one in the Q&A section.
Oh, I'm glad you said something.
Yeah, while you're reading that, I wanted to let everybody know just an additional piece of information about the COVID-19 resources. When you post a status update, you can actually select to say, Ryan, you're still screen sharing your Google.
Yep, I'm bringing this up for the next, sorry about that.
It's okay.
Wasn't thinking.
No, it's fine. So I realized this actually just yesterday when I posted a COVID-19 update, and Facebook was organically able to recognize that it had to do with COVID-19. So it asked me if I wanted to highlight this as an update related to COVID-19. So I selected yes, and you'll see, yep, right on Ryan's screen there's like a little heart there. So when you select that, Facebook is actually putting priority into sharing those posts with the people that follow you. So when you use that button, it puts a priority on your post so that more people see your post about your COVID-19 updates.
Just stay knowing that, Facebook is aware of, how much this pandemic is affecting everybody's small businesses and how all these small businesses rely on Facebook to stay in touch with others. So these features are awesome. These features can only help us in the long run. Kathy, you brought up what's Impressum. So Kathy, I am not a huge expert on this, but I did want to give a real answer because you deserve it. And an Impressum, if I knew more, is not totally necessary right now on your Facebook page. I know that that's something. Again, I am not the best with this. I wish I knew more, but it is very similar to, like it says here, terms and conditions. Again, I am not super familiar with how necessary it would be for your business with your Facebook page, but I do know for, just larger businesses or businesses that might have to do with, I don't know, different activities, you might have to have something like that legally. But from what I did research on a while ago when I looked into this, it looked like an Impressum was something that happens more in other countries, and it's not something that in America, or the United States, I should say, excuse me, is necessarily necessary. Again, don't quote me on this, but there are, not I don't think there's a ton of pressure for just every Facebook page. But take a look into this just for your business. That's not a bad question at all. I've done the same research. And as you can see, there's a bunch about it here on LinkedIn. So this is definitely something that, small businesses deal with. So thanks so much for asking that. Here, moving on, just to keep wrapping up Facebook, social media, growing your SEO. Last week, we talked about search engine optimization and how having good content on your website will grow your website's ranking on Google. And this week, I'm going to tell you that not just having good content on your website, but having great content on your Facebook page and your social media presence in general is an excellent way of growing relevancy on Google. So as a lot of you have probably already found out, that you can just, Google your name on Google, and your Facebook profile might pop up if you have the right settings, or you have the right middle name, or you have the right last name, and it all matches up. Facebook has made it super easy to find things, and they've started to rank on Google. And go for it. Go Google search your name, go Google search your business, and take a look at what comes up, because some of you might find that your Facebook pages might be ranking above your website. Sometimes by even a lot, sometimes by even maybe an entire page. And that's, something that you can work on to get your page rank higher. But the point is that, Facebook has made it super easy to operate these as almost a web page. And in fact, there are clients and there are people that I've worked with that primarily will just use a platform to run the majority of their business. If that platform gives them enough communications with their friends and fans, maybe that's all they need. So when we're talking about how the social content is going to grow what's on your page, you want to make sure that what you're putting out there is tagged correctly. It has relevancy. It's going to have keywords. Again, keywords are big. Sharing things, getting them out there, sharing other posts. All of this content that you're sharing from your page is building up your relevancy online. The more active you are, the more engaging, the more you message, the more you comment, the more you like, the better blogs you post, the more videos you promote. There's so much to it. So again, Facebook, algorithms are all over the place, but there is no doubt that having content on your page, in your information, with what you're posting, with what you're sharing, with what you're saying, all of that has to matter. It all does with the relevancy of who's finding you on Google. So keep posting and keep sharing what you have to say, because that's also important with people finding what they need to when they're exploring Facebook. In relation to that, keywords are so important, because if people are searching keywords for what they need, if they want takeout, delivery, if they want to, to dine in, eventually, they're going to be using those specific keywords to know where can they go, what are businesses offering tonight, are they open? Yeah, I mean, we're going to hit this really weird point, guys, where half the country might be totally open and half the country might not. It's gonna be bizarre. So there's going to have to be more complex ways to address your audience and let them know what's going on. And this doesn't just go for Pennsylvania, this goes for everywhere. Everyone's going to be dealing with this, is how do we communicate to our customers when they can show up, where they can pick up their deliveries, what kind of coupons our first responders can take advantage of, simple things like that. But it's just going to get more and more convoluted. Again, keywords, growing your search engine optimization through Facebook content, very, very important. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them. Properly categorizing your Facebook page is something we talked about as well. And this, again, just to show it briefly, you would go to settings, and underneath your page info and some of these other tabs at the side, which I know there are many, you can go in and add this information. This is all going to help with your business and its relevancy of being found online. Selling products and services. The last part that I want to talk with Facebook before we switch to the rest of these important social media platforms is how you can sell services and products. And again, Socialoka is a service industry where we're not necessarily selling exactly through Facebook. It's a different thing, but Facebook has made it easy for a lot of businesses to sell, straight through the platform. In fact, with Instagram, when we get there, we're going to talk about the fact that you can list products through your Facebook page and then tag them in your Instagram posts and have people check out right through that. So, right there, that's an open loop where it just shows how much easier this is getting, where Facebook and Instagram and all these social media platforms expect people to eventually just be browsing and then buy and have it shipped right to them. So talking about services and the shop, I have taken advantage of this a bit when it comes to Facebook. And to be honest, there's a lot more that we could do. Last week, we talked about Inkaloo, which was our website developer, and we used that to demo. And you can see that I've created products here for the Inkaloo subscription plans, excuse me. So for our highest plan, our Kraken plan, I put this on here, cute little box, made it look nice, made sure I put some information. And of course, they can all find this on the website, and it's better if they go to the website and directly check out and use the product. But just to better explain, we have Facebook right here with this awesome tool to display our services. And because I can't magically force my website to sell Inkaloo, our website builder, to everybody who is on our Facebook page, the second best thing is having something that's visual and aesthetically pleasing, where they can click on it, they can see the information, and if they're still interested, they can definitely click through. But Facebook's taken all the work out for me. They're helping me sell this product. It looks great. I put it here. I can list it. They have categories. It's awesome. So I love the shop feature with Facebook's page platform, and as well with services. You can also add services, and you can put custom parameters and variables here too, even just for video. Just to explain our video services, again, it's just a way that you can get your products and services out there to show people. You can take this to the next step with some e-commerce. You can have people buy through your page. That would be a lot more advanced. We'll do that in another presentation sometime, but just to skim the surface, it's awesome just to show, how easy Facebook has made it to display these products and services and to show people what you can do. So any questions about displaying products, services through your Facebook page shop, drop them right in the Q&A. I will definitely try to get back to them, and I can help with answering any of that. But again, pretty self-explanatory once you get in there and you start setting this up, but just make sure you're on your page. You want to find your shop, and you want to get in there and start editing, and it will take some time, but it's going to be totally worth it. Again, more content that your fans can find. It can only help your presence online. Just checking the chat real quick to make sure we're good. No questions so far. Again, if anybody has anything, please just drop it in the chat and I will check it out. I've got it in the corner of my screen here, and we'll make sure we don't miss anybody. So moving on from Facebook, let's talk about Instagram. So Instagram, and a lot of you at this point, you may or you may not have an Instagram. If you do have an Instagram, I would love for you to drop it in the chat. If you do have an Instagram, say yes, or we've got an IG in the chat, maybe drop your username. Would be very interested just to hear who is on Instagram and what you're doing with that. Hey, before we move on, we have a couple of questions that just popped up. So let's get to these first before we move on to Instagram. Lisa asked, are there service fees attached to selling the product listings through Facebook? Lisa, there are not service fees with selling the product via Facebook if you're not selling it directly through the Facebook sales services. Let me better explain this. So for these products here in my shop, they are not taking any fee off of this. The customer is only seeing, or the viewer, I should say, is only seeing this product, as something that Social Loca can sell or offer. They're clicking through and they're clicking check it out on the website. So to answer that, basically, no, they're not taking any fee there. They're just redirecting you over to the product, and you can use this for whatever. And if there was any way that, they took fees in the future or however, it's easy for you to just set it up this way through the shop, or you would have it go to your website or some form where they would go through and do that. So no immediate fee there, not an issue. And same with the services. Services is just a way to visually display and give them some information on what they can do. And that would be it. So you just say, for us, we put starting at, because every video photo project is different. Management's different. Put whatever you want there. Doesn't cost anything. Tammy asks, how much would you expect to pay if you connect to PayPal? Tammy is asking how much you would expect to pay if you were to connect this to PayPal. The good news is that you don't need to connect this to PayPal. This, again, is all just going to go through a website or a source that you link them to. If you don't have anything like that, that's another conversation, but you would not need to set up any payment feature or anything with Facebook to make this happen. I didn't have to do a thing, if that helps. I literally just added the tabs through settings, and just to show you that quick, maybe some of you are saying, well, I don't see my shop feature, and that's perfectly normal. You might have to go to your settings, and you might have to click on the category for templates and tags. And once you're there, templates and tabs, and once you're there, you'll have different settings of what you can add, what you can do, and not to mess around with this too much, but I hope this better explains that, Tammy. Wouldn't need to connect to anything. You could just go in here, add this, go right into your settings, done. So again, these are going to be features I'm sure Facebook's going to grow and, have more control over and do more with soon. But for right now, it's, still in a beginning stage and it's getting there, still super powerful. And then, yes, so they would pay online with the website. So if you wanted people to pay for any service online, you would have to use something possibly like PayPal. You can use several online credit card processors or payment programs to collect payments from people. And most of the time, don't hold me to it, maybe there's one or two that don't, but most of the time, they will always try to incur some type of fee. I believe PayPal to process credit card fees is 2.9%. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's 2.9%. And then, they just take their small fee or a minimum fee of 30 cents or whatever. And that's it. And that's what they would take. And then the transaction goes through. And that's pretty standard with anything. But, in this case, you wouldn't have to attach that to Facebook at all. You would be totally fine just setting that up through your website, using the best payment processor for yourself. But in any situation online, if you have a payment processor, it's usually going to cost something. Nothing up front, but charges on the fees. So read the fine print when you're signing up. There's PayPal, there's Stripe, there's authorize.net. Again, this spans a little out of social media, but I hope this is helpful, Tammy, because I know you're asking, you probably have some need for this. So let me know if there's anything else you wanted to ask about that. Someone asked, I just saw the WhatsApp icon underneath IG. Good call. How would you connect to Facebook and WhatsApp, and where do you see the benefits? That's a great question. So let me start by just being honest. I'm not a total expert with WhatsApp, but to give a little insight as to why I feel it's so important is I have a very good friend and she records on YouTube. And whenever she's recording on YouTube, a lot of her patrons through Patreon, which is another social media thing we don't need to talk about. Point is that they're from all over the world. And I said, how the heck are these people communicating with you? I mean, she's doing, work, online for people in India, people in Russia, people all over. And the point is that all of them are using WhatsApp to communicate. So for any of those who don't know what WhatsApp is, let's bring this up briefly. WhatsApp is an awesome tool that, yes, Facebook owns this now. They own a lot. And WhatsApp is just a texting platform. It's just reliable messaging, as it says here. Again, it's really similar to just texting someone, maybe Facebook message, and you can get it on your computer, on your phone, whatever. And as far as I know, it is a relatively free way to communicate. I mean, I've never had to pay. I've never been asked to pay. Again, I don't know if, there's business purposes for it or something I'm unaware of. But as far as I use WhatsApp, it's just general communication. Okay, I just see you saw it's free there. Yeah, I mean, this is just, again, an alternative to texting. It is an awesome way to do communication online with people from all around the world. That's where I see it applied for a lot of people the most. And it's also extremely popular in other countries. So it's not something necessarily where, people in the United States are, waking up and immediately texting all their friends on WhatsApp. But because you just need Wi-Fi and it's free, it's easy for a lot of people to use this as just a straight way of communication. So WhatsApp, incorporating it with Facebook, I don't have anything off the top of my head to necessarily show there, but that's an awesome question, and I will do some research into that. Maybe I can bring some of that info Thursday when we do our next webinar session. As far as WhatsApp and Facebook, though, Facebook owns them and they've got tons of control, tons of power, and I'm certain that they will play this in to be a small business tool down the line. Absolutely certain of it. It only makes sense. They've literally started doing TV commercials and they show all the icons. And I'm like, oh, Facebook's literally, marketing themselves to be just, the monopoly of all these amazing tech services. They're showing it's like, we're Facebook and we have this and this and this. And they're all multi-million, billion-dollar company. It's crazy. It's crazy what they're doing. They have so much power over us and they have so much information. So we've got to hope that they, use it for good. That's my hope, at least. Great question, though. I'll get more info on that for Thursday. Yep. Awesome. Thanks so much. And it's Katharina. Thank you. All right. So I'm marking all the questions done. If anyone has any others, please let me know. let's get through Instagram and LinkedIn quick. I think that these are a little less prevalent than Facebook, just because some businesses might not have them or might not have a total use for them. But just to explain better, Instagram has great features too that you can use for your business in certain occasions. One of the main things that I see Instagram as is an awesome resume or gallery tool or a portfolio. I mean, it's anything creative. I mean, just having the ability to show different photos of what you do, what your product is, who your team are, your services, all of that is just so important. And Instagram makes it easy to showcase different sections of your business or your life if it's a personal account. And one of the best things that Instagram has done is they've created these highlight stories. So as you guys can see, I'm circling my mouse around this now. We've got our video stories, our stories about design, workflow, advertising, PR, our Blue social media management software, social marketing. You can see these different story highlights are what they called. So with these story highlights, you are able to categorize stories that you're putting up through Instagram. And for those of you who aren't necessarily familiar with that, stories are when you take videos of yourself or something else and you upload them onto a feed and they disappear within 24 hours. So that's kind of the buzzword, is it's those stories or these posts that you're putting up and they disappear from your story within 24 hours. But what Instagram does is you can take any of those posts or stories that have disappeared and you can keep them on a highlight. So let's do this as an example. So you can see just through our Socialoka advertising, I took a video we did some ads for and it got some awesome results on YouTube. So I added this, but this was 119 weeks ago. So you can see, you can take your best content and you can highlight it, because I want new people who are seeing, what Socialoka does to see this. I want them to know what we're doing. We did an awesome ad campaign for a band that's huge out of United Kingdom. They did a great job and I wanted to share that, different videos. So there's so much here, just that you can use to highlight, showcase what you do. There's so much. And again, the stories, these are all free features. You would just have an Instagram. You'll need to play around. But once you start creating those stories and put them on your profile and they disappear, you can re-add them and you can have these highlights to go through, your past achievements, announcements, different things you want to share, past projects in my case. Again, it's going to be different for everybody. There are so many different, uses for this. And I hope that this just gives you an idea of some of the different things that, maybe your business might be able to utilize from Instagram. So again, get creative with it. Use it as a way where if someone says, hey, what do? You can send them your Instagram profile and they can watch a video right away that shows exactly how you build bridges or how you design websites or how you plant plants or how you're going to do the lawn care. I mean, every business, it doesn't matter, brick or mortar, online, can benefit from this. We have a quick question. Is there a difference in features for Instagram business versus personal? Yes, there absolutely is, Kathy. That's an awesome question. For a lot of you, and let me bring out my phone. I want to make sure I get this right. So with Instagram, they have two different types of profiles that you can have. I'm going to bring up my app right now. Honestly, the rest of you can too. If you bring up your Instagram app and you go to your main page, which, let's see. Oh, it's not showing it because we've got the screen blocking out. But if you go to your main page like this and you check this out, mine is a business account. And when you go to the top three, see if this works. There are top 3 lines up in the right-hand corner of your phone screen when you're in your Instagram app. You're going to be able to go to settings. From within settings is where you should be able to turn your account into a business account. Let me go to, real quick, I apologize. Let me go. Oh, I don't have any accounts on my phone right now that aren't business accounts. So Kathy, to answer your question, honestly, I mean, I don't have a single account on my phone that I can even demo with to show you that's a personal account still. There is a gigantic difference between switching from a personal to a business account. And if any of you want to do it, it's in settings and there should be some button that asks, would you like to upgrade to a business account from a personal account? And the difference is all the analytics it's going to show you. You'll have the ability to promote posts. It's going to show you better insights on how your photos are being seen. I mean, when you have this on your, on your account and you are a business profile, you're able to take the pictures and you're able to look and see, what your post insights are. I can see, 153 people liked this. Somebody sent it to their friend. 2 people flagged it to save it. It had 11 comments, 30 people visited my profile, and it reached 1,700 people total. So we can see so many results just from having the Instagram business profile on our account. So I wish I could demonstrate the mobile view better for you, but like I said, get on your phone if you have a chance and try to upgrade to the business version, and you'll be able to see more stats, analytics, everything. But yes, super important, and I'm glad you asked that, because there might be a lot of people here who didn't even realize that if they just press a couple of buttons, it'll switch them to a different version of Instagram where they can, promote their posts and all that. So check it out. Awesome question. I hope that helps some people. Cheryl just asked, is that a professional account? Yes. So Cheryl, this account right here for Socialoka is a professional account, or what I should say, a business account. It's just a business account, and it has different features that a regular account wouldn't. The only confusing part is that Instagram doesn't really care about their desktop experience that much. So this is pretty limited. We're not really able to see all of the best analytics and stuff through this, and that's okay. If we were on the app, you can see more analytics. You can see more views about the people who are liking your photos. You'll be able to see how many people watched your stories. You'll be able to see all of that information from the business side once you upgrade your Instagram to that. And it's free. It's totally free. They're going to have you put in, your phone number, your business address, whatever. They're just trying to help you have a platform to grow your business on through Instagram. So definitely check that out if you have some time. It is, primarily mobile centric. So just make sure you're doing it from your phone. And viewers, yes. So viewers can see or tell a difference. So just to briefly explain that, the difference is that when you go to somebody's profile page, it's going to have different actions that you can take. Let me show you this. Come on, webcam, don't let me down. Let's see. So
Nope.
I am trying to show, but yes, Cheryl, what you'll do is when you go to the profile of someone that you want to look at, next to following, you'll probably have message and contact. There might be a button for call. There might be a button for get directions. What the business profiles does is it lets businesses set up those buttons so that visitors can communicate better with them. So yes, it does change what viewers will see. It's not entirely different, but it's different enough that it's noticeable. It gives you more functionality though. So it only helps. It literally only helps. It doesn't really deter anything. It just gives you more options to connect. So yeah, if you haven't already, try to upgrade. It's totally free, and you can do it right through your settings. Yes, absolutely. You're welcome.
Ryan, I know that the desktop investment for Instagram is not that in depth, but if you did pull up an account, like say my Instagram account, which is not a business account, would it show them any differences from here? I'm not sure.
Let's test it out real quick. Jocelyn, what's your exact, here, I can bring this up here actually.
Jay Starenshaw. There I am.
There you are. Here, let's check this out. So, Socialoka is a business account. And yeah, from the desktop, that was a great question who asked that, because I thought, that is funny. We can't even show the differences. You can actually only see it through a mobile app, which is kind of crazy. It's like, who cares about the website? Just make the mobile app great. But that's where this is going. So no, you won't see those differences here, but you will see them when you're in the mobile app.
Okay.
And thanks, Jocelyn. That was a great point to bring up.
Just thought I would try.
Nope. It was a great point. So we talked about a lot with Instagram so far, and I do want to move on to LinkedIn and the rest. But yeah, just to recap, we talked about gallery, portfolio, getting calls, clicks. Like I said, when you make that full profile, you'll be able to go in there and set up those parameters, set the number you want them to call, the email you want them to contact, or the number you want them to text. These are all options when you upgrade to a business profile. And again, check that from your mobile phone. Best way to do that successfully. Any other questions, feel free to drop them right in the chat. If we're good on Instagram for now, we can come back to it. I did want to talk about LinkedIn. I think that LinkedIn is, especially right now, a great place for everyone to be. So again, any Instagram questions, feel free to drop them in the chat, and we'll check that out. But with LinkedIn, guys, everybody's got to be on LinkedIn now. Every professional. It doesn't matter if you don't use it all the time. You want to be here and you want to be found. You want people viewing your profile. You want to be up there. You want to have your blog circulating. You want to be in the spotlight when it comes to, business successes. It's so important. And I think that LinkedIn is one of the healthiest communities, in my opinion. Maybe others have a different experience, but one of the healthiest communities, to do so. It's not really bred or been made out to be a place where you can just go and, post your wild political opinion and say whatever you want, or, post relationship photos of you out at, somewhere to eat with your significant other. It's mostly just about, what's happening in business and what's happening in the world and in other people's lives professionally. And I think it's awesome that it's turned into what seems to be a pretty healthy community business-wise. LinkedIn recently too, and I know this happened a bit ago, but they did this awesome feature where, they have more than just, liking the posts, and it's more like Facebook where they have, just different reactions that you can show. So I love LinkedIn for that reason. I think it's great. I really think it's amazing. When I have something important to say, I put it on LinkedIn. People are positive. They're encouraging. They're thoughtful. They're professional about it. It's so, so important. So how can you make this great community work for you? Number one, we can all, debunk that, posting, using some hashtags and staying active is super important. But when it comes specifically to your business, LinkedIn has a business and a company page section. So what LinkedIn calls company pages would be the same thing as a business page. You can see why this gets a little confusing once you start putting all the terms together. So if we view this as a member, we can see Socialoka has what looks very similar to be a Facebook page, but it's just their LinkedIn company page. And this is where, you can view who's working somewhere, different sessions that they've put. So today, we shared this, shared it from the Greater Hazleton Can Do. And this is how you can stay in touch with companies. LinkedIn is, much easier to get a lot of interaction through if you're doing it through your own personal profile. At the start, of course, it's difficult to just, magically grow followings on these platforms. We do it and it's not as easy as everybody thinks. There's a lot going on online. So as you're really, in a sense, breeding your audience, to listen to your LinkedIn page or your Facebook page or whatever, you're going to be wanting to share these posts and get your page name out there, get people to follow, get people to interact. And again, you're going to have similar pages, and they're going to do this to help, people who are finding certain pages find others that are similar. So it's great. Our friends at Cole Creative, super similar page. They do a lot of the same stuff that we do, and they're from the same area. They're great friends of ours. So it's great to know that if people find Socialoka, they can just go, oh, well, we know them too. They might know the same people from Cole Creative, like their page and follow it as well. LinkedIn is, again, another social platform, making sure that customers and viewers can stay in touch with the businesses that they need to. So LinkedIn has all of these features. Again, not to spend too much time on this, but you can launch it from your website. You get your website launched from here. Visit the website option, have your about, put your information. Again, all of this is going to weigh into how findable and how relevant your LinkedIn page is and just your business in general. Quick question that I want to take. I know it's not related to Facebook, Instagram. However, which platform would you recommend if you wanted to give virtual webinars apart from Zoom? Katharina, that's a good question. I will answer that, actually. I'm going to answer that. Just let me finish up with LinkedIn, and we'll get into Twitter, and I will jump right to that. I have a great suggestion for that, and I'll share that with you. So moving past LinkedIn, I'll let you guys ask any questions just because I want to, make sure we have time to get through the rest of these and then open up for questions in about 10 minutes. So let's ditch LinkedIn for now. We know it's great. We know we can use it. We all know. Twitter. Oh boy. I'm not a huge fan of Twitter personally. So maybe, no kidding. I am not the biggest fan of Twitter, but that's only because of its limited use for business. And again, maybe that's just because of my experience with it. So aside from my bias and, just how Twitter isn't the best thing to grow a marketing agency necessarily, Twitter is an awesome tool for a lot of businesses with a need for PR announcements, customer relationships, press releases, stuff like that. And that's what I like Twitter as, is if an audience is there and they can listen, and you have that audience on Twitter, and you know when you put that out, they're going to read, they're going to retweet, they're going to listen to you. It's super important that you use Twitter to, get those messages out if you can. And some of your businesses may only have a very, very small Twitter following. That's okay. Twitter followers are not the end of the world, whether you have 1 million or not necessarily. It might just not be best for your business. And that's why I don't like to spend too much time on this. But some of you out there might be thinking, well, hey, the majority of our, main customers are following us because we took the time to grow this, and we get our retweets, and we like to post our calendar events through Twitter, and we like to put this out with these hashtags. And if that's what you're thinking, then definitely utilize Twitter. I mean, it is one of the most powerful places, on the internet to find what's going on. Whether it's through their Explore tab, just finding the right hashtags, what's trending. I mean, this is all super important, and every business at a point should be, somewhat committed to their Twitter, depending on where they're at. But again, not to spend too much time on this, but I think that it's so important that if you have a need, to utilize your Twitter to stay in touch with announcing, maybe your COVID-19 updates, when you're going to be open, when your hours of operation are, what you're doing when it snows and maybe your business is unacceptable. Quick, immediate ways to reach your audience, to reach your fans. Twitter is a great way to do that. So again, might not be totally prevalent to your business, but it is a super powerful platform. And if you can find use out of this, I would really encourage any of you to try to do just that. Tammy asks, can you advertise job LinkedIn's through LinkedIn? Job openings through LinkedIn. The answer is yes. And just because LinkedIn, I feel this has more importance than maybe the Twitter for the majority of you. Let's look at LinkedIn advertising. And I guess I should say, first and foremost, I am not an expert LinkedIn advertiser. I work a lot better with Facebook ads, but I know that LinkedIn is very, very similar. Maybe not entirely, but enough that yes, you can advertise on LinkedIn. I'm trying to think of what the last opinion was by a good tech company that I read about how they felt the overall stats of LinkedIn advertising were. Looking here. LinkedIn has definitely, a really advanced advertising feature. I do think that the budget is something that is a concern for certain people. So with Facebook, Facebook, you can throw literally $1 a day, 100 cents into a post, and you can usually get that to find some type of engagement somewhere. It might be really a stretch. You might get one person to like your page for $1, and maybe it's not even enough sometimes. But with LinkedIn, I do remember reading that the advertising is a little bit more intensive. I think you might have to put up a bigger budget. So separate, thing to discuss, but yes, you can definitely advertise through LinkedIn. I encourage you to check this out. I'll take this link right here, actually, and I'll put it to all the panelists. Hopefully that helps you out, Kathy. So moving on, I want to spend about 5 more minutes before we open for some questions. I really want to talk about TikTok, Snapchat, and then I want to talk about how you can manage all of this at once. TikTok. I would love to know how many of you are actually familiar with TikTok. If there's anybody who's actually been on TikTok and knows what it is and have it on their phone, please drop a comment in the chat, because I'd love to know what the percentage is. Because TikTok is weird. It's just weird. I'm just going to be honest. I'm almost 27 years old. I'm still stuck in between this weird phase where I don't know if I want to be an adult or a kid, but TikTok is definitely for the kids. The stats are overwhelming. It's overwhelming, how many young aged people are on TikTok compared to, just any generation above. And that's not a bad thing. I mean, this isn't a bad thing. This is just so different to see because, Facebook is, it exploded with youth using it because, it was aimed at college people. And then it's funny because, then they're like, all right, well, now everyone's on this. And now we've got our businesses. I mean, we're doing a webinar to talk about how you're going to use Facebook to help save your business during this time. And, 8 years ago, it would have been, how do I create Facebook? I need a college profile or whatever, whatever the timeline is, it has just changed significantly. And that's why I wanted to bring this up is, listen, I know this thing is laughable. If any of you, I see some of you commenting, thank you for telling me this. Yes. So you said a 10-year-old, 22-year-old. Yeah, that's what this is. I mean, I think TikTok's almost crude to an extent with some of the things that they've got on here, but this is the reality, guys. And I don't really have anything magic to tell you about this, but I can promise every single one of you watching this that this thing is going to explode, like explode, 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 like bigger than ever. I mean, this is growing faster than Facebook ever did. That's it. That's all I needed to hear. I was like, what? They're like, yeah, this is growing faster than the biggest social media platform in the world. So I'm like, oh, okay. Oh, great. Yeah, I mean, it's weird. And and I think that the lesson that I want to really say is just be aware with this. TikTok has advertising, and they have advertising, and Grubhub has been one of their biggest ones. Whenever my friends send me videos on TikTok, I open it and they have this ad pop up and it's Grubhub. It's like, okay, get it, I mean, but this is the time to do so. And if you've got all these kids who are 16 plus and they have some access to a credit card or just a family's Grubhub account or anything, I mean, which is the way that a lot of family dynamics might work, sharing your Netflix password, sharing your Grubhub, whatever. Let's be honest. These things are, it makes it accessible, makes it easy, right from your phone, order food, whatever. That's the direction that TikTok ads are going in. They're trying to hit like even younger than my generation. They're trying to hit people who are 14, maybe even like younger. I mean, a lot of the kids on the app that I've seen are fairly young. So again, TikTok, totally new ball game, guys. Stay aware. This is gonna get weird, and I don't even mean that negatively. I just mean that this is not going to be necessarily like Instagram or LinkedIn or Facebook. I think that eventually I'm going to be just giving very bizarre webinars talking about, hey, dress up like a Power Ranger and dance around for 5 seconds and put your business logo on your head. And maybe that'll be the way to go viral on TikTok. I mean, it's just getting strange. So not to spend too much time. Again, we're here to help your businesses, but pay attention, because if this thing continues to grow at the speed that it is, by 2021, you should probably be thinking about having a TikTok. Not because of your customers now, but because of the customers 10 years from now. They're all going to potentially still be using this. Maybe it's just a 5-year mark. Maybe it's just 2. Maybe it's 4. Who knows? But, we've seen a lot of social medias come and go, but this one's riding fast. I mean, this one is exploding. So do some research if you are interested in TikTok and understanding it even that little bit more. Again, some of you might be laughing saying this is a waste, but we'll see what happens. And that's just kind of, what my thoughts are on it. It's just, I guess we'll see what it becomes. Right next to TikTok, let me bring this up, is Snapchat. And Snapchat's something that I'm sure all of you are more familiar with. But 2 years ago, we were all doing these things going, how are we going to get Snapchat to work for our businesses? How are we going to do this? How are we going to take this app where people send pictures that disappear and make valuable sense out of that, with promoting? And it happened. It really happened. I mean, just take a basic example of anybody's store, shop, whatever. You walk around your store, shop, whatever it is, take some video, show everybody what's going on Snapchat. Let's say you got 1,000 people in your local area who like to buy your product or service, whatever. You show them what's going on. Maybe 5 of them show up that week and they say, hey, I saw in your Snap story XYZ, blah, blah, blah. You posted about this clothing. You posted about this service. I saw you were doing jet ski lessons, whatever. It can be anything. People are learning and purchasing just through their eyes and their senses and, what they're seeing online. People are seeing videos on Facebook that say, this experience is amazing. Make sure you go to New York City and dine out in an outdoor igloo in summer. I mean, think about it. It's, we're not being sold, by anything normal. It's these, lavish experiences and crazy stuff that's going on, and Snapchat's a great example of that. Snapchat has all of those filters. They have the stories. They have the Snap Map where you can see your friends. I mean, they have just exploded. This is really cool. I like this too. This almost looks similar to TikTok's website, the way they did this. And again, Snapchat's an app, and a lot of you might not have a major use for it. But, when things liven up again and people are out and about, the generation coming up, they're on Snap, they're on Instagram, they're on TikTok. They're looking and they're seeing this stuff. And again, I don't think that the answer to marketing anymore is to be the most professional. I did for years. I really thought that was it. And now I'm realizing it's just about staying relevant. These people aren't using anything fancy. You know, they're not using any fancy lights. Half of their phones look like they're, 8 years old. I mean, they're just blurry images. But the point is they're staying relevant, they're staying trendy, consistent. And if you can find a way to do this with your business, you're going to win, hands down. So take this with a grain of salt. Take it for what it is. TikTok, Snapchat, just these platforms with these stories and whatnot. Take what you can from them. There's so much we could, theorize or talk about, but I'll leave it to your creativity to decide if you think you've got a way that you can, utilize the Snapchat platform or TikTok to take those videos and repost them or share them. Again, the game is going to continue to change. So what might seem, in a sense, silly or foolish today might not be so silly in a year, or maybe even 6 months, or maybe even just a month. Just stay aware. Super important to do so. So guys, we are pretty much wrapped up with this. The only last thing that I wanted to mention was for anybody who's feeling overwhelmed, there is a great way that you can manage social media overall. And that would be using a social media management software. And again, just to show exactly what this is and be fair, let's look this up. Social media management software. What tech companies have started to come up with are social media management tools. A lot of you are probably familiar with these. Hootsuite, Sprout Social. We have one called Blue. There are different softwares out there that will allow you to schedule out your posts. And again, it's just for monitoring, analytics, finding other content, looking at fancy things online. There are just so many different, functionalities and just features to these social media management tools that you can use. I wanted to show you a quick example today. Ours was Blue. And the whole point of even using something like this, once you sign up, is that you want to be able to schedule and work on your social media strategy and posts. So from the interface of a social media management tool, they're all essentially going to do the same thing. You're going to be able to post, schedule, monitor, find content, measure analytics, add the services, and other goodies as well. But just to show in general, the idea of these programs is to be able to go in and schedule out to your pages and multiple pages all at the same time. So just in the essence of time here, and we don't want to get too in depth in this, but as you can see, you can take the same message and you can put it across different channels, put in different pictures with the channels, have the messages be different, and have, different text or call to action or whatever it needs to be. When you edit one, it keeps the other the same. So again, this is another way to manage your social media overall. It's a little bit more advanced, but for some of you sitting there going, Ryan, this is great and all, but I don't want to manage 7 different platforms. You don't necessarily need to do that. Stick with what's important, but try to find tools to make it easier. And one of the best tools, that we can offer is Blue, which is our social media management software. And we have some clients who simply go and they sign up for the free trial this, give it a go, love it, keep it for what they're doing. And they only use it, for maybe their, 10 pages. And maybe that's what they need is just, a basic way and an account to do that. They check their analytics, just all of those features. So again, this would be the way that if you have different profiles and you want to be able to manage all of them and have more control and schedule out what you're doing, look into a social media management software, do a quick Google search. You're going to find tons. And I dropped one in the link into the chat box as well. You'll be able to check that out. You'll be able to try a free trial of Blue, which is what we use. We developed that ourselves. Check it out, see how it works. Free trial is easy. And if it works and it helps you utilize, your social media strategy better and optimize your engagement, then great. If you don't have the time and it's not necessary for you, maybe that's the case as well. But tools like this make it easier to manage all of your social media game. So guys, I've wrapped up with my initial agenda. I hope there are some questions. I know that a lot of you also have other places to go. So I really appreciate you even being on this call. This is a crazy time for all of us. I know everyone's got a dozen Zoom meetings every day. So I really, really appreciate those of you who are still here with me and those who had stayed the majority of the hour just to see what we had to say and be educated a bit. So I hope, really, really hope that you guys all got something out of this. And like we said, drop any questions, anything in the chat. Jocelyn and I are going to stick around until the room empties, and I'll let her give any final thoughts or questions she might want to as well.
Yeah, thanks, Ryan. I was taking some notes of some things that we can address on Thursday, but one of the big things I want to make sure that everybody's aware of, Ryan, I'm going to quickly share my screen. There we go.
Go ahead.
Give me 1 second, guys. Okay, so these are just some platforms that I want to make sure you're all aware of, and I can drop these links in the chat. So Ryan did a really condensed 101. These are social media platforms in an hour, and there's so many of them. And
many of them.
Yeah, we'll really we'll answer more questions and dive a little deeper into some of it on Thursday, but we wanted to touch them all today. If you are interested in learning more about your social media platforms and how to be your best on them, there are some really cool resources out there. So most of them are specific to the social media platforms. Specifically, Facebook has a certification course. It's the Facebook Blueprint. So Ryan, you can see this, right? So
yes, we can all see this.
Awesome. So this is the Facebook certification course, digital marketing, marketing science. They have all of these different platforms. You could get into SEO, a little more in depth about Facebook. So you could go through. I believe that all the content is free, but there is a charge for the certification because you do have to take a test at the end of it. And then, so that's a resource. Then there's also LinkedIn, which is more generic and less about LinkedIn. So what LinkedIn did, which was very different from what Facebook did, is that instead of talking specifically about them and about their product, they decided to give you guys just a ton of resources. So you have everything from 6 morning habits of high performers to social media marketing foundations. They have things, they actually go through and they select items that they think I would enjoy because of what I share and what I post on social media. But then they go through what's trending. Because you have social media marketing on your LinkedIn profile, they try to customize it specifically to you. So these are all courses that you could go through. There's also certifications that you can go through on LinkedIn. And then the last one that I wanted to touch on, which I think is probably the most beneficial, is this HubSpot. So HubSpot, we could go on forever about what HubSpot is, so we'll just focus on this one particular category. The HubSpot Academy offers courses and certifications. And the difference is you can take the courses to lead to the certification, or you could just take a single course if you're interested in learning something. They have a ton of them. What's really cool about what's going on now in light of COVID-19 is a lot of these programs, a lot of these educational systems are either lowering their price or offering it for free. Again, sometimes charging for the certification, but allowing you to do the courses free of charge. HubSpot is one of those. So you could actually go through and do an entire social media, let's just type that in here. Social media, so this is a course here. This is a certification, social media strategy certification course. You can click on this. It'll bring up all of the courses in this certification and how long it takes. So they actually go through and say what the timeline is and how many videos are in each one. So these are really powerful tools for you to take some time to brush up on your skills. And I think they're really important for everybody to know exist. And the fact that they're dropping these prices during the pandemic is huge. Again, with all of us working remotely, a lot of these companies who could be capitalizing on a crisis are saying, no, let's give people a resource. Let's give them something to help get their businesses online and be more successful. So there's a ton of tools out there between webinars like this and even these educational platforms as well. So again, I'll drop these all in the chat. Really, really powerful tools for you. Ryan, do you have anything to add on that?
No, that was, wow, that was great. These are really, really great links to share. I know we had talked about Facebook, but even the LinkedIn Learning, I mean, that's something that I should get more involved in myself. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
I think these are huge. And guys, again, not that I know for sure, but this again just goes to this big theory I have that I really believe that the future of marketing is going to be on the business owner. I see it. Like I see that, big corporations or big businesses might need help from others, but when you're starting out, it's getting easier and easier and easier to get your general, marketing platform set up from the ground up all on your own. I mean, this is a perfect example. If you can watch some videos and have everything, set up in a, I guess, orderly way, that's huge. So yeah, these platforms, that they're offering, that's awesome. All the free training, or at least reduced training. Really great point, Jocelyn.
Yeah, for sure.
Guys, if there are any other questions, I can definitely wait around, but I just want to say thank you. I see all your names. I saw everybody who attended. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This has been a great session, and we're only through 3. So, I mean, we've got more to go. Here, Jocelyn, I'll throw a link in the chat for anybody who wants to register for Thursday. All of the registration links for the rest of our May marketing webinar series, they're going to be on this link I'm going to drop right now. Let me put this right in the chat. If anybody wants to check that out, you can go right to the website, and it'll take you to register for any of the classes. The webinars. We're talking about all these classes and training programs. I'm getting confused. But no, just with these, our final sessions, it's going to be this Thursday. We're going to have a Q&A on how to grow your engagement on social media and beyond. I've got some awesome stuff to talk about, and Jocelyn has great questions we're going to go over too. And then next week, we're going to talk about getting e-commerce ready, how to set up and process online payments. I dealt with some crazy payment processing issues this morning, so I am heated, but no, I'm well educated and ready to really tackle this. I've been dealing with my own problems lately, and right now with COVID-19, e-commerce options are so important. So we're going to go through that next Tuesday. I really recommend anybody who wants to learn more about just online payment processing and ordering, definitely check that out. And then next Thursday, May 21st, we're going to do our total wrap up. And all of that's going to be just, final questions, final thoughts, going through some of the main points of what we had been over. So these next 3 sessions should be pretty stacked. There's going to be a lot going on. So thank you for anybody who attends. We have a question. I'm going to...
Yep. You were supposed to come back to that.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Wow, how rude. Katharina, I'm so sorry about that. But thank you for re-asking again. Yes, I was going to recommend Google Hangouts. And I completely blanked on that. So I'm glad you said something. Let me bring this up, and I will flip over my screen just to show you this. And I should say there are other, there's also other alternatives to Zoom in this as well. However, I love Hangouts, and let me show you why. Let me flip this around. All right, I should be sharing my screen, and it should show you the Hangouts app, which is in the Google Play Store. And then I'm going to put this here. I'm going to put this right in the chat for anybody who wants to use this link. But yeah, just what we were saying, as far as webinars go, Google Hangouts is a really easy place to get on, have, web access, your webcam, mic, have a chat feature, invite others. And I like Hangouts just because it's really stable. And so is Zoom too, but it's right through Google. People just log in right through their Google accounts, and they get to get involved. So Hangouts is definitely something to check. Just you're adding a little bit more to the question. Looking for a platform you can make the virtual webinar highly interactive. Oh, well, if you really want to make it highly interactive, there are going to be more features coming with these virtual webinar programs. And Jocelyn, we were talking about this the other day, weren't we?
Yeah, so I had registered for an educational course where I was supposed to go to, New Mexico to take the course, and they obviously canceled it. So we converted everything to a remote-based system, and it was done through Zoom. There were 60 of us in the class, and what I had no idea that Zoom did, and I'll be honest, I still have to figure out how they did it. But they were able to break us out into breakout groups. So you were taken from the main room where there were 60 some participants, and you were broken out into smaller groups of 7 to 10. And you were able to have, like those icebreaker sessions, or when you would go through and talk about a topic. They even have a whiteboard option where you could go and make notes on each other's pages, so you could really do a brainstorm. I was really impressed. And maybe it's an educational tool. Maybe you have to be an educator to have that. I'll really have to look into that, and I can report back on that on Thursday. But I was really impressed by that, because typically we see Zoom with two features: the webinar feature, which is what we're using today, and then you also have the meeting feature. The meeting feature is free. The webinar feature you have to pay a little bit more for. On a meeting, that's usually where you see all of the boxes, where you see everybody's picture, whereas this time you only see the participant names on the side. So anyway, those are the main features for free and for a minimal cost. I'll have to look into some of those breakout options, but I know that Zoom can be extremely interactive, and I just learned that this past week. We're definitely going, to Ryan's point, we're going to be seeing some major changes, over the next couple of weeks to couple of months to maybe a year of how these digital platforms are going to be used. Even if the country and the state open back up tomorrow, I think it's going to be quite some time before we go back to business as usual, where we have, thousands of people in rooms for conferences. I think in general, I think the communities are going to be a little concerned to do that. So that might be a whole other webinar series that we do specifically about some of these webinar options.
We could do a webinar about how to have a webinar. That's it. That's it. That's going to be the multi-million-dollar idea yes. Right there. That's it. No, yeah. and just not to interrupt you, but just to kind of add to what you're saying, Jocelyn. Yeah. Like when you say these are growing over the next couple of weeks, yeah. I mean, that's just what's going to happen. I mean, it's almost bad to say there really isn't anything with these intensely interactive features. I can't make a toucan fly behind me like I wish I could. I can't make a lion pop out of the space here, but I do expect, and again, this might sound comical, but this is going to happen. Live streaming. I love to live stream. I live stream and I do video games just for fun. And when I was doing that, I learned a lot about how live streams get interactive. And what they do is they base off of cues. So if someone is watching your live stream and comments, you can have a pop-up that says Jocelyn commented, and a puppy will dance around on the screen. So imagine something as, immature and comical as that, entertainers are doing live streaming on Facebook or Twitch or something like that. And imagine that through webinars. Imagine that I can snap my fingers and glitter will pop up where it needs to be on the screen. And that's me announcing like a bold point. Or maybe I can have a feature where I can display a PowerPoint and I can click on a word and the word will highlight and it will, maybe pop up for, the people watching. I mean, these are just off the cuff ideas, but aren't these things that might be helpful? I mean, in ways that I could zoom in to show different sections, highlight, use red arrows. I mean, because when I'm presenting, I want that, what's it called? The laser thing, you have to point at the screen. I mean, and these are all things that we do physically. And yes, I can almost guarantee there's somebody at Zoom right now going, how are we going to make this thing work? How are we going to accept, credit card payments where people can donate through these meetings? I mean, these guys are going to get on everything. I mean, their whole stock exploded. I mean, they're good to go. I think that all these webinar services are going to get more and more intensive. So it's exciting. I mean, look at us. We're in the rainforest. Look at this. We got the magic. So one cool little feature like this, wait till we're putting filters on our faces in the middle of business meeting. It's dead serious. No one wants to do their makeup before these. Jocelyn, I'm telling you, wait till it happens. We're going to have filters on our webinars soon. That can happen.
The last story, the only thing I'll add to that is there is a way to do filters on Zoom.
Oh, yes.
And I learned about this because there was a viral story about a boss who turned herself into a potato. And she couldn't figure out how to turn it off. So she conducted the entire meeting with her as a potato on the screen. So It can definitely be done, but
It's
I
amazing.
digress. I want to wrap us all up. We're 20 after 3. I see we've dwindled down to about 12 participants. Thank you, everybody, so much for being here with us. We're really looking forward to answering more of your questions on Thursday. I dropped it into the chat, but I also have it up on the screen. If you have questions or you have some things that you want us to dig a little deeper into on Thursday, feel free to email Ryan or myself and say, hey, I'd really love if you could elaborate a little bit more on how to advertise on Facebook, or, I wanted to know about how to post a job on LinkedIn. We can look at that stuff ahead of time. We can build it into our agenda and make sure to answer your questions on Thursday. So thank you very much for being here. We'll see you again on Thursday.
Yep. Everything that Jocelyn said sounds great. Jocelyn, thanks again for the opportunity. And thanks for the time. I'll see you on Thursday. If anyone has any final questions, shoot us a message. We'll hang here for another couple of minutes.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Have a good week.